as far as you are happy with it. If you need to stop, stretch, stop and stretch, have a little rest, and join in again when you're ready to do so. Use your props, a ball. If I don't have a ball, I can use a pillow, and then a band. If I don't have a band, I can use a strap, a belt, anything to that I can use it for assistance, especially for the legs. And then if I'm seated, see if I can try and find that nice lifted position. So as usual, if I sit slumped, the compression into the belly is going to compress the diaphragm, the big breathing muscle, which hasn't got space to move. So if a diaphragm can't move, then the chest muscles will have to compensate, as I still have to be able to breathe. So see if you can try to give yourself a little bit more space to encourage the diaphragm to keep moving up and down to create that breath, the front of the chest to stay relaxed. So a little bit more of a relaxed breath that's helping me to calm down the nervous system and relax into the body. If you're laying down, just allow yourself to relax completely onto the mat, just letting the mat support you, allowing the arms to relax down by the side, straight legs or bent knees, whatever position feels more comfortable. And then noticing where the breath is. Most of the time, we tend to breathe up at the top of the chest. So we tend to breathe here. See if you can think of keeping the front of the chest still. So I'm keeping soft, I'm keeping relaxed through here, and then I'm going to send the breath down here into the belly. So feeling the belly expanding with the inhalation, and then softening, relaxing with the exhalation. So see if I can calm down the breath, and in turns calm down the body. As I feel the breath, it's a little bit more settled. Feel it's a little bit calmer at the top. Then see if you can start noticing the pressure. Start noticing the body. So if I'm seated, comparing the pressure between the right and the left seat bone. If I'm laying down, comparing the pressure between the right and the left side of the body. Notice where the head sits. Is it in front? Is it slightly to one side? Am I slightly turned to one side? Notice the position of the arm. Is one shoulder slightly forward? Is one arm slightly further out than the other? What about the legs? I'm not changing anything, just noticing where everything is and how I feel to begin with. Is there any pain? Is there any discomfort anywhere within the body? And then as I feel a little bit more settled, as I feel a little bit more relaxed, I'm going to start focusing on the shoulder girdle. So think of your shoulder blades, like two little cards running up and down the back. I'm going to start running them up towards the head. So I'm going to elevate them, pull them up to the head, and then I'm going to slide them down. I'm going to depress them. So I'm going to elevate and depress. Same as usual. If you're laying down, it's normally not too much of an issue, but if you sit it up, because of the space around you, check that the shoulder is keeping in that mid-range. So it's not coming forward and then loading the front of the chest. It's not going back and loading the back. It's somewhere in between the two, so that the chest and the back are working together to create that little movement. 3, 2, 1. Keeping the shoulders down. See if we can go into a little protraction, retraction now. So I'm going to pull the shoulders forward, and then I'm going to squeeze them together. I'm going to pull them forward, and then I'm going to squeeze them together. So think of the shoulder blades, this time moving onto the outside of the rib cage as I protract, as I pull them forward, and then moving towards the middle of the back as I retract them, as I squeeze them together. 5, 4, 3, 2. Last one, I want you to go into the retraction. Squeeze the shoulder blades together. Hold them there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release. Straighten again. Pinch the shoulder blades together. Hold them there. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Last time. Pinch them together. Hold them there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and release. Giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll, adjusting the shoulders, releasing through the upper back, and then I'm going to start focusing on the neck. So keeping the shoulders still this time. I'm going to start turning the head from side to side. So I'm going to turn to look around the right shoulder, come back to center. I'm going to turn to look around the left, come back to center, go to the right, and then over to the left. With the corner of the eye, check that the shoulder is not following you. So the shoulder is still, it's just the head that is moving. I'm not allowing the chin to drop down. I'm not allowing the chin to lift. I'm just trying to keep the chin parallel to the floor as I'm turning from side to side. Just trying to look around as well. That helps with the rotation. If my eyes are looking forward or if my eyes are looking the opposite way, that kind of like almost like prevents the rotation. It's almost like a break to my rotation. So see if I can try and look around in the direction that I'm turning. And then I'm going to ease back. Look around the other way. And then ease back. 2 more. Last one. And releasing the head back to the middle. Then keeping the head to the center, I'm going to go into a little lateral flexion. So imagine 2 little pulleys to the side. I'm going to pull down on one. So my right ear comes down towards the right shoulder. The left side is going to stretch and lengthen. Then ease back. Left ear to the left shoulder. The right side stretches. And then ease back. So from 1. Going back to the other side. So without forcing, making sure that the movement is not creating any tingling down the arm or into the fingertips and into the hand. So we're not pinching on the nerve. And then if the movement feels comfortable enough, then see if you can add a little bit more traction. So as the right ear drops down to the right shoulder, see if you can press the left shoulder down the opposite way. So see if you can create just a little bit more traction along the left side of the neck to stretch it. Then easing back. And then I'm going to try and stretch down the right side when I move to the left. 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back to the middle, releasing into the shoulders, relaxing into the neck, and then I'm going to go into a little flexion extension. So whether you're lying down or seated, imagine your head to rest on the floor or on the wall, as well as the shoulder. I'm going to push the chin into the back of the throat, as if I was trying to give myself a double chin. I'm going to try and flatten the curve at the back of the neck. Then I'm going to ease back. And then again, I'm going to try and flatten it. And then back. So keep the chin retraction guy. If you're lying down, think of like almost like use the mat as a guideline. Can I push the chin into the back of the throat as if I was trying to press at the back of my neck down onto the floor, onto the mat. 3, 2, 1. Releasing back, and then from flexion, I'm going to go into extension. So think of opening up through the throat. I'm going to start to looking forward. I'm going to start looking up. And then I'm just going to ease my way back. Looking forward, looking up. And then ease my way back. Notice the difference between the right and the left side. I might find that one side it feels a bit tighter than the other. And then same as you did for the lateral flexion. If you feel that the movement feels okay, there is no pain in the neck. See if you can add a little bit more traction to the front of the throat. So I'm going to rest our hands right onto the top of the chest, and then imagine to be kind of like holding the skin at the top of the chest down. So I'm going to hold it down gently, and then I'm just going to repeat the same movement. I should be able to feel a little bit more stretch down the front of the neck. So it shouldn't be painful. It's just a little bit more tension coming down the front. 3, 2, 1. And releasing back or releasing through the neck. So a little bit more movement into the cervical spine. I'm going to drop back down into the middle, and then I'm going to see if I can move into the thoracic, so into the upper back. So the same protraction, retraction that we practiced before, I'm going to see if I can make it even bigger. So this time, instead of just pulling the shoulders forward, think of pulling the shoulders forward and then rounding your upper back as much as you can. So think of separating the shoulder blades, try to open up the space between the shoulders, down the back of the rib cage. Then I'm going to retract. I'm going to squeeze the shoulder blades together and then pushing the breastbone forward and up to see if I can get into a nice extension. Then again, moving into flexion. And then going up into extension. So see if you can be aware of the movement right at the top of the spine. See if I can ease some of the tension, some of the stiffness away. Notice in which direction feels more restricted, in which direction I feel that I'm kind of like struggling to create that movement. If you're lying down, you might want to lift the head off the mat as you come into flexion. And then popping the head back down as you go into extension. So flexion. Into extension. 3. 2. 1. And breathing back, adjusting the shoulders, adjusting the head. And then from rotation, from extension, I'm going to go into rotation. So reaching the arms in front of you, clasping the hands together. I'm going to rotate to the right. So I'm going to turn as far to the right as I can. Turn with the head, turn with the shoulders, ease back to the center. And then I'm going to rotate to the left. As you're keeping the hands together, think of with the arm, same direction as you're turning. So as I turn to the right with my right arm, I'm going to pull gently on the left to see if I can create a nice stretch behind that left shoulder as I'm turning right. And then going the other way, see if I can create a nice stretch at the back of the right shoulder as I turn left. So getting that rotation going, rolling from shoulder to shoulder if you're lying down. If you're seated, you've got more space and limited for space. So I'm just going to try and turn as far to the right and as far to the left as I can. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. And then from rotation into a little lateral flexion. So I'm going to keep the arms loose by the side. If I'm seated, if you're lying down, you might want to support the head. I'm going to reach down with the right arm. I'm going to flex to the right. Think of that left side of the rib cage opening and stretching out. Then I'm going to ease my way back to the middle. I'm going to reach down to the left and then see if I can open up and stretch along the right side. And then easing back, and then I'm going to flex the other way. So keeping the movement going. Imagine 2 pulleys are just, one is letting go, one is pulling, one is letting go, one is pulling. Making sure that especially if you're seated, you're not leaning backwards, so there is nothing pinching in the back. If you're laying down, just use the mat to guide you as you reach to the side. And then as you reach the other way. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, last one. And releasing back, bring the body back to the middle. Again, adjusting the shoulders, adjusting the arms. And then I'm going to stay with the mid-top body. See if I can start getting the arms involved as well. I'm going to reach the arm to the front. And then think of like a really wide rowing back. So I'm going to open out. I'm going to bend the elbows. I'm going to try and keep the elbows in line with the shoulders. So think of the elbows reaching out to the side. And then I'm going to push them down. If I'm down on the floor, I'm going to press them down into the floor until I can feel the middle of the back tensing. And then I'm just going to ease them back to the ceiling. So I'm going to pull out, squeeze into the floor, and then I'm going to release. If you're seated, I'm going to come forward, and then as I pull out, I'm going to keep pulling until I can feel my shoulder blades squeezing together. Then I'm going to release, and then again, I'm going to pull out and squeeze them together and release again. So see if you can find the muscle between the shoulder blades and see if you can activate them. See if you can make them work again. 5, using the arm to create a little load. 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Relaxing the shoulders, giving the shoulders a little bit of a roll. And then I'm going to change the direction. This time I'm going to start reaching the arms up and over. Both arms together, I'm going to bring them up, and then I'm going to reach as far up as I feel comfortable. And then I'm just going to ease my way back. See if you can encourage the extension. So I'm not trying to hold the rib cage down. I'm going to let the rib cage lift with the arms, and then drop with the arms. Little lift, a big lift, allowing the arms to open up a little bit wider, keeping the elbows bent, the arms straight. Play with the position of the arm, making sure that it doesn't feel painful for the shoulder. If you're laying down, exactly the same, both arms together. I'm going to encourage the slight extension, and then I'm just going to come back into neutral. A slight extension, and then back into neutral. Making sure that at all times the neck feels soft. So there is no tension into the neck. So I'm not trying to pull my shoulders to my ears. I'm just trying to raise my arms up and over. And then I'm just going to let them return back. 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing down, relaxing into the shoulders, releasing into the arms. And then I'm going to try and see if I can vary the tension. So reaching the arms to the front, clasp the hands together. And then think of start swinging the arms in front of you into a circular movement. So I'm going to start swinging them around. So if you're on the floor, it's nice because you've got the feedback from the floor. As my arms start swinging around, I can feel that my upper back of my shoulder girdle is going into that little circular movement. So I'm getting a little rotation, a little bit flexion, extension, lateral flexion. So see if you can try and keep the arms swinging around as if you're trying to massage the back of the rib cage. Keeping the swing big, making it small. It doesn't matter, just focus on that kind of like rolling onto the back, onto the shoulders. If you're seated, unfortunately, there is nothing behind me, but see if you can try and be aware. The arms are circling, but what I'm actually trying to move is through my spine. So I'm getting that flexion, rotation, lateral flexion, extension, forward flexion. See if I can try and get it to move as much as possible as the arms swing. We're going to reverse the swing. I'm going to swing them around the other way. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and releasing back, relaxing the shoulders, adjusting the shoulders, adjusting the upper body, and then I'm going to start focusing a little bit more down into the lower back. I'm going to start going into a little pelvic tilt. So tilting the pelvis back, I'm going to roll back onto my tailbone, and then I'm going to come forward onto the seat ribs. So little tilt and release. Think of a gentle tuck from the front, and then I'm just going to go back, a little tension, and then easing back. So allowing the pelvis to rock gently forward and back, massaging the lower back. If you're laying down again, Easier as you've got the mat as a reference point. I can feel the lower back dropping into the mat. I can feel it lifting away. I can feel it dropping. I can feel it lifting away. It's a little tension, gentle tension at the front of the belly to create that movement, trying to keep the legs as relaxed as possible. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, adjusting the hips. And then from posterior tilt to from flexion extension, I'm going to go into a little lateral flexion. So I'm going to go into a little hip hitch. So hitching the right hip up towards the right side of the rib cage, and then the left to the left. Right to the right, left to the left. So if you're lying down, think of the hips are just gently, almost like swinging side to side. If you're seated, imagine your sequence walking up and down on the chair. So I'm going to try and pull up on the right sequence to hitch the right hip up, and then pull up on the left sequence to hitch the left hip up. Using the arms to help me stabilize the lift if I need to, or just to keeping the arms relaxed if I don't need that help. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And releasing back, relaxing the hips and bringing the hips back to the middle. And then I'm going to drop down into the hip joint. So grabbing hold of the ball or the pillow, place the ball between your right leg and your right hand, or both hands, whatever is easy. If you're seated, you don't really need the ball. You can put the hand directly onto the leg as the leg is closed. But if you're lying down, you do need the ball as the leg is suddenly not here, it's further away. So with my hand here, I feel that I've got to really strain my shoulder. So I'm just going to use the ball to bridge that gap. And then from here, I'm just going to push with the hands into the ball, and then see if you can try and lift the leg against the ball. So I'm going to press with my leg and my hands into the ball, and then I'm going to release the pressure. I'm going to press and release the pressure. So think of the front of the hip tensing, the front of the belly tensing to get that pressure going on and off. The foot might lift off the ground, it might not lift off the ground, especially if I'm seated as I'm working against gravity. But see if you can be aware of that little twitch into the hip. So see if I can feel those muscles tensing, then letting go, tensing, then letting go again. Now, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Relaxing the legs, switching to the other side. So placing the ball between the left leg and the left hand or both hands, and then I'm going to try and squeeze the ball between the hands and the leg. So see if I can be aware of that tension into the front of that left hip, and releasing, tensing and releasing, tensing and releasing. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Relaxing the leg, releasing the hip. Now focus on the right leg again. This time, instead of pushing the leg up, think of pressing the leg down. So I'm going to push with my right foot as hard as I can into the floor, and then I'm going to release. I'm going to push as hard as I can into the floor and release. Push and release. Push and release. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Same thing with the left. You're pushing down as hard as you can and let go. Press and release. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And relax. Relaxing the legs, releasing the hips, and place the ball between the knees. Shuffle the feet a little bit closer together, and then this time I'm going to press in to the ball. So I'm going to squeeze it hard, and then I'm just going to release, squeeze it hard, and release. And then as usual, as I keep the squeeze going, if I feel that one leg feels different, so with one leg I don't seem to be able to press, then I'm just going to guide it with the hand. So I'm just going to help it to get the movement going. This time focusing the intention, the tension on the inner thighs. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then on the next one, squeeze the ball, hold the squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release. Try again. Squeeze the ball, hold the squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release one more time. Squeeze the ball, hold the squeeze. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And release. Releasing the leg, releasing the inner thigh. I'm going to push the ball to one side, grab hold of the band instead. I'm going to tie the band around the knees. Or I can just hold it in place with the hand. It's easier if I just put a little bow or a little knot to hold it in place so that my arms can actually relax. If you've got the strap instead of the elastic band, remember, keep it a little bit slack so that you've got a little give. You can actually move the leg inside that loop. And then this time, instead of squeezing, I'm going to try and open up. So I'm going to step the feet back to about hips width apart, and then I'm going to push out into the band and ease back. Push out into the band and ease back. Again, using the hands to guide. If I feel that the leg doesn't understand the movement or doesn't know how to get there, I'm just going to try and tell the legs where to go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. Same as we did for the squeeze. Push out, hold the tension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release. And again, pushing out to hold the tension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Release. Last time, pushing out to hold that tension. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And releasing back. Relaxing the legs. I'm doing the knot. I'm doing the bar. Pushing the band to the side. Giving the legs a little rub, making sure that the leg doesn't feel a bit burned by the band. And then if you're down on your back or rolling over onto your side, slowly pushing yourself up into sitting, finding that comfortable seated position. So the legs can be in front of you, out, cross, together, leaning against the wall, leaning against the sofa, just making sure that there's nothing that can slide back, something that I can trust that it's going to support my back and stay up. And then once that you're seated, same as we did at the beginning, picture the space at the front of the body. I'm going to try and exaggerate that space. So I'm not just straightening myself up. I'm trying to stretch that space out as much as I can. So I'm going to start bringing the chest forward. I'm going to lift it up. Imagine a little hook right into the breastbone, pulling you up and towards the ceiling. Feel the shoulders falling backwards, dropping downwards. I'm going to look forward. I'm going to look up. I'm going to look back as far as I can. And then I'm going to release, allowing the chin to drop down to the chest and the shoulders to come forward. I'm going to roll down as far as I feel comfortable, safe. And then up again. I'm curling all the way back, extending your way up. Chest is coming forward, hooking the breastbone onto that little string that takes you up to the ceiling. Let the shoulders drop back and down, looking forward, looking up, looking back. And then releasing, coming forward, rolling your way down and towards the floor. Last time, I'm curling up. Try to create as much lift, as much space at the front as you can. Pushing the chest forward, lift it as high as you can. Drop the shoulders down at the back, looking forward, looking up, looking back. And then releasing back to the front. One hand to the belly, one hand to the back. Take your bow.